Good morning, South Africa, and welcome to State of the Nation, where we take an honest and unfiltered look at the true state of this country. If you enjoy the conversation, please subscribe and turn on notifications. We want to build a community for all South Africans that transcends race and gender and adds positively to the national dialogue. Access to housing is a constitutionally ensured right that millions of South Africans have yet to benefit from. It's shameful that 3 decades into a free South Africa, so many of our people still do not have quality housing. Like many other things in this nation, the money to fix this problem has been misspent and stolen. If you drive across the country, you will see thousands of half-built RDP houses, billions of rand just thrown away by awarding tenders to politically connected criminals. The truth is that providing housing and reducing poverty are not nearly as high on the ANC's agenda as their ideological goals. We must realize that the ANC is a socialist party. As Karl Marx said, the first step in implementing socialism is eradicating private property rights. Private property rights are fundamental for attracting investment and creating economic growth. It's therefore staggering that this right is under serious threat in this country. For years, the ANC and other leftist parties have promoted ideas such as nationalization, expropriation without compensation, and prescribed assets. In plain English, expropriation without compensation is a euphemism for taking something without paying for it, or put bluntly, theft. However, this direct assault on private property rights is not the only one we face. Legislation has increasingly eroded ownership rights by pitting the rights of citizens against each other. Specifically, the right to housing against the right to property ownership. We have a situation in this country where the rights of legal landowners are being eroded by people seeking to secure their right to housing. However, it is not the private citizen's duty to provide housing, but the state's. You cannot rob someone and then tell them that you are just collecting your grant money from them. It's not their responsibility. In the same way, you cannot invade a private person's land and then say you have a right to housing. Legislation now mandates that as soon as someone has erected any dwelling on a property, you cannot remove them without a court order. The squatter's right to housing now trumps the property owner's rights, even though they are trespassing and are there illegally. Getting someone off your land requires an extremely costly court order, and the courts are often reluctant to side with the landowner. Even when they do, the cost of executing that order falls on the landowner, meaning they must pay to get their property back. Effectively, it has become an ideological battle where property is not treated like any other asset. Imagine if someone stole your car and you reported it. The police find the car and then take it back from the robber. They don't allow the robber to drive the car around for 2 years while the owner obtains a court order to get their car back. People building illegal houses are not criminals, they need a place to stay, but they are committing a crime, and the law should recognize that. The law must uphold private property rights before they are eroded completely. The state cannot put the burden of providing land for housing onto private citizens while depriving them of their rights in the process. Securing one person's rights cannot come at the expense of another person. The state must make land available for housing while protecting all citizens' property rights. This country desperately needs foreign investment, but that will only happen if investors know their investment is safe. Nobody will spend billions setting up commercial farms and factories if their land can be occupied. The ANC has used the housing crisis as an ideological weapon against private property rights by pitting citizens against each other. The ANC is intentionally dragging its feet on the housing crisis because it gives them political ammunition to promote constitutional attacks on property rights. On that note, please support this channel by liking, subscribing, and joining in the conversation by leaving a comment. If you want to know more about what is happening in the world, check out our sponsor's book, The Ministry of Truth, by Ethan Quinn. This book explains how identity politics is used to manipulate society.
Despite the propaganda, this is not a struggle between people of diverse cultures, races, or genders. In reality, the culture war is taking place to decide the fundamental question of our time: what sort of society do we want?